There's a moment many retirees don't talk about: the quiet after the celebration, the silence after the cake is gone, and the realization that time has shifted. Retirement, for all its promises of rest and reward, can bring with it an unexpected guest: loneliness. It's a feeling that creeps in during the long afternoons, when phone calls slow down, routines vanish, and the familiar hustle of life fades away. If you're over 60 and you've found yourself staring out the window longer than you used to, if your days feel quiet, not peaceful, but empty, you're not alone. Millions of seniors across the country feel this too, a silent ache of disconnection. And yet, few speak about it. Few ask for help. But here's the truth: retirement doesn't have to be a season of solitude. It can be a time of deep reconnection to people, to purpose, and to yourself. That's why in today's video, we're going to explore 7 ways to truly reconnect when retirement feels lonely. These are not just surface-level tips. They are deeply practical steps that can reshape your emotional landscape, rebuild your sense of community, and reawaken the joy that still lives inside you. Before we dive in, I want to hear from you. Have you ever felt the sting of isolation after retirement? Leave a comment below and share your story. Your voice could be exactly what another senior needs to hear today. And if you're finding value in these conversations, take a moment to subscribe to our channel. We're building a space where elder wisdom matters, and your presence here makes a difference. Let's begin. 1. Acknowledge the loneliness without shame. Loneliness after retirement is not a sign of weakness. It's a signal that something important is missing. Not attention, not entertainment, but connection. Yet so many seniors hide it. They smile in public, nod during conversations, but inside they carry a heaviness that no one sees. The first step toward healing is recognizing that what you feel is real and valid. You spent decades working, raising families, serving others. Your identity was woven into schedules, responsibilities, and roles. And now, without those anchors, it's natural to feel adrift. But don't confuse solitude with personal failure. Loneliness is not a reflection of your worth. It's simply the human heart longing for companionship, and it deserves to be listened to. Many seniors fear that if they admit to feeling lonely, they'll be judged or pitted. But that silence is what deepens the isolation. Speaking honestly about your feelings, even if it's just to one trusted person or even writing them down in a journal, breaks that first layer of emotional fog. It puts you back in touch with yourself. And from there, reaching outward becomes possible. Here's something to reflect on. When was the last time you told someone how you really feel, not about your health or the weather, but about your inner life? If it's been a while, maybe today is the day to start. Comment below, even anonymously if you wish, and simply say, "I've been feeling a bit lonely too." You might be surprised how many people reply with, "Me too." And don't forget, if this resonates with you, subscribe now so you don't miss the next parts of this journey. Every week, we bring you quiet strength, shared wisdom, and real solutions for senior life. Now that we've faced the truth without fear, let's move forward with hope. Because there are things you can do to reconnect, deeply, meaningfully, and it starts with where you already are. 2. Rebuild routine. Create a daily anchor. One of the most silent losses in retirement isn't just the people you saw every day, it's the structure they gave your life. Before, you had a reason to rise at a certain time, a set rhythm to your days. Even when work was stressful, it gave shape to your hours. And when that structure disappears, something subtle happens. Time begins to feel like an ocean with no shore. Endless, yes, but also directionless. That's why rebuilding routine is one of the most powerful antidotes to retirement loneliness. Not just to pass time, but to reclaim control over your day, to give your mind and body something to look forward to anchor your spirit. This doesn't mean recreating a strict schedule like the one you had in your working years. It means crafting a rhythm that feels nourishing to you. Maybe it starts with waking up and making the same cup of tea each morning while listening to a classical record. Maybe it's a 20-minute walk right after breakfast, rain or shine. Perhaps you check in with a friend by phone at the same time every Tuesday. No agenda, just connection. When you build routines that are small, meaningful, and consistent, you begin to tell yourself, my time matters. And when your time matters, your sense of purpose grows stronger. Here's a challenge for you. Before this day ends, write down 3 things you want to do tomorrow at the same time you did them today. They don't have to be big. They just have to be yours. Try it for 3 days. Then comment below and tell us what changed. I promise you'll feel something shift. And if you're still with us, take a second to like this video. It helps more seniors discover these messages. Because no one should have to navigate retirement alone, especially not when small routines can lead to big emotional breakthroughs. In the next part, we'll talk about how reconnecting with others often begins by reconnecting with a deeper version of yourself. Let's keep going. 3. Reconnect with your inner passions, even if you think it's too late. Somewhere along the way, in the rush of building a career, raising children, paying bills, many of us tucked away parts of ourselves we once loved. The sketchpad that gathered dust in the attic. The guitar you stopped playing after your 20s. The poetry you wrote but never shared. The love of learning you put on hold because life got too busy. And now, in retirement, with more hours available than ever before, you may feel hesitant to return to those passions. You might think it's too late. I'm too old to start again. But that voice, the one telling you to shrink, to settle, to stay quiet, is not your wisdom. It's your fear. The truth is, reconnecting with your inner passions is not about mastery or achievement. It's about aliveness. It's about reigniting a spark that reminds you you are still here, still capable of joy, of curiosity, of creation. And that matters. Maybe you once loved painting. You don't need an art studio, just a quiet corner and a few brushes. Maybe you had a green thumb. A few pots on the porch is all it takes. Perhaps you always wanted to write your life story, or try photography, or even learn a new language. There's no timeline. There's no right way. The only mistake is believing that your time for passion is over. It isn't. If anything, it's just beginning. Now with the wisdom and freedom you never had before. Here's something you can do today. Take a sheet of paper and write down 5 things that used to bring you joy, even if it was decades ago. Then circle one, and tomorrow, give it just 10 minutes of your time. Just 10 minutes. That's how reconnection begins. Not with leaps, but with small returns. I'd love for you to share in the comments. What's one passion you want to revisit? When you share it, you give someone else permission to remember theirs too. And if this message stirred something in your heart, even just a flicker, subscribe now. We're not here to count your years. We're here to help you make each year count. Let's keep walking this path of reconnection together. 4. Volunteer your time, because someone needs you more than you know. One of the most powerful ways to reconnect when you're feeling lonely is to shift your focus outward. It might sound counterintuitive. How can giving to others help me feel less alone? But here's the secret. Loneliness often grows in the absence of being needed. And when you find a place where your presence matters, your loneliness begins to loosen its grip. Volunteering is not just about filling time. It's about restoring a sense of belonging. Whether you're mentoring a young person, reading to children at a library, serving meals at a local shelter, or simply greeting visitors at a hospital, your life experience, your patience, your empathy, they are valuable, more than you realize. Many seniors hesitate to volunteer because they think they're not physically strong enough, or tech-savvy enough, or in the loop enough. But that's a myth. You don't need to be perfect, you just need to show up. Sometimes, all it takes is a listening ear or a steady hand to change someone's day. And in the process, yours changes too. Volunteering also connects you to a broader community. It gives you new faces, new names, new conversations, and over time, real friendships can form. These are not pity connections. These are purposeful connections, built on shared goals, mutual respect, and the simple human need to make a difference. If this speaks to you, here's a step you can take this week. Call one local nonprofit, your local church, school, or senior center. Ask, do you have any opportunities for someone like me to help out? Even just a few hours a week? You might be surprised how quickly they say yes. And if you've already volunteered or are thinking about it, leave a comment below. Tell us where. Tell us why. Your story might inspire someone else to take that first brave step out of isolation. Before we move on, remember, liking this video helps more seniors discover messages that matter. So take a moment to like and subscribe now. You are not invisible. You are needed more than ever. Let's keep going. 5. Revisit old friendships, even the ones that faded quietly. Time has a way of loosening the threads between us. Friends move, routines change, families grow. And before you know it, the people you once shared laughter, memories, and phone calls with become distant names in old address books or silent faces in faded photographs. But here's something many people underestimate: the power of reaching back. There's no shame in friendships that faded. Life pulls all of us in different directions. But just because a friendship grew quiet doesn't mean it has to stay that way. In fact, reaching out to someone from your past may be the very act that brings healing to both of you. You might think it's been too long. What would I even say? Start simple. I was thinking of you today. I hope you're doing well. That's all it takes. A short message, a small phone call, a birthday card. They can open doors you thought were long shut. What you'll often discover is that the person on the other end, they've been thinking about you too. Maybe they didn't know how to reach out. Maybe they felt the same hesitation you did. And in that shared uncertainty, something deeply human connects again. These reconnections don't always become daily conversations or renewed best friendships, but sometimes they do. And even when they don't, the simple act of reconnecting, of saying, I remember you, you mattered in my life, can ease loneliness more than you might expect. Here's your invitation. Look through an old phone contact list. Flip through a photo album. Think about someone who once brought you joy. Then, before the day ends, send them a message. Not tomorrow, today. And if you've recently reconnected with someone, share in the comments. Let others see that it's never too late to send a hello, and never too late to hear one back. Tap the like button if this moment resonated with you. And subscribe if you're ready to keep rediscovering the power of human connection in your later years. You're not done building relationships. You're just beginning a new chapter. Let's turn the page together. 6. Join local groups, even if you feel nervous at first. It's not easy walking into a room where you don't know anyone. At any age, the idea of joining a new group, a book club, a gardening circle, a walking club, a community class, can stir up old anxieties. Will I fit in? Will I find someone to talk to? What if I feel out of place? These questions are normal. But here's the truth many forget. The people already in that room, they were once newcomers too, and many of them are hoping for new connections just as much as you are. Local groups give you more than just a scheduled activity. They give you community without pressure. You don't have to pour your heart out on day one. You don't even have to talk much. Sometimes just being in a shared space, hearing familiar voices, and seeing faces that begin to feel familiar, that alone is healing. The key is to start small and start local. Don't wait for someone else to extend the invitation. Be the one who shows up. Your city library, senior center, YMCA, or local place of worship often hosts events or classes tailored for older adults. Whether it's chair yoga, memoir writing, bird watching, or learning to use technology, the variety is wider than ever, and many are free or low cost. And if nothing local suits you, remember, the digital world has opened up new options too. There are virtual meetups, Facebook groups, and Zoom classes where seniors from across the country gather to share stories, learn, and laugh. The connection might not start face-to-face, but the impact can be just as deep. So, here's a gentle challenge for you. Within the next 7 days, sign up for one group, class, or meeting, even if you're unsure about it. Just try it, just once. Then come back and tell us in the comments how it went. And if you've already found a group you love, share the name below. You never know who else in your area might be looking for the same thing. Take a moment now to like this video and subscribe. The first step is always the hardest, but you don't have to take it alone. Let's walk into these new spaces together. You belong more than you know. 7. Talk to someone. A counselor, a coach, a spiritual guide. There comes a point in every person's life, no matter how strong, how independent, how wise, when they need someone to listen. Not to fix, not to judge, just to listen. And yet, many older adults hesitate to seek that support. They say things like, I should be able to handle this, or I don't want to be a burden. But here's something you need to hear today. You are not a burden. You are a human being, and human beings need connection to heal. Talking to a professional, whether it's a counselor, a therapist, a faith leader, or a life coach, is not a sign of weakness. It's a sign of self-respect. It means you recognize that your emotional and spiritual well-being matter, that your story still deserves to be heard. Too often, people wait until the loneliness is turned into something heavier, depression, hopelessness, a sense of fading. But it doesn't have to get that far. Sometimes a single conversation can open up a whole new path, one paved with understanding, clarity, and support. Many communities offer counseling services for seniors at little or no cost. Faith communities often have spiritual advisors who are happy to talk, even if you're not a member. And in today's world, phone-based and online therapy options make it easier than ever to get help from the comfort of home. If you've never spoken to a professional before, start small. Call your local senior center or even your doctor and ask if they can recommend someone who works with older adults. You don't need to commit to months of sessions. Just begin with one. That's enough. And if you found strength through counseling or spiritual support, share your experience in the comments. Someone watching right now may be waiting for permission, and your story could give it to them. Don't forget to subscribe and like this video. We are building a space where mental and emotional wellness are not only accepted, they're encouraged. Retirement may change your title, but it doesn't silence your soul. Your inner world still matters deeply, and it's never too late to speak up for it. Now that we've walked through these 7 pathways out of loneliness, stay with us, because next we'll reflect on what it all means and how to move forward with quiet strength. If you stayed with me this far, thank you. That tells me something important. You are ready. Ready to stop merely enduring the silence that retirement can bring, and start reconnecting, not just with the world, but with your own spirit. Loneliness in retirement is real. It doesn't care how successful you were, how big your family is, or how many birthdays you celebrated. It visits quietly. It lingers. And if ignored, it can dim the joy you worked a lifetime to earn. But as we've seen today, there are ways out. Not overnight fixes. Not one-size-fits-all answers. But steady, real choices. To acknowledge your loneliness without shame. To rebuild a rhythm in your day that grounds you. To revive your passions even after years away. To give your time to others who need you. To reach back and revive old friendships. To step into new circles even when it's uncomfortable. And to speak to someone so you don't carry it all alone. These are not small things. They are acts of courage, and they belong to you now. Before we end, I want to say this clearly. You are not forgotten. You are not invisible. You are not too old to grow, to connect, to matter. In fact, your presence in this world, right now at this age, is more meaningful than ever. You carry stories no one else does. You hold lessons this world desperately needs. And you're allowed to want more than just quiet survival. You're allowed to want joy again. So if this video touched you in any way, do 3 things right now. Leave a comment and share one step you're going to take this week. Like the video so others know they're not alone either. Subscribe, because this is only the beginning of the conversations we'll have together. And until next time, take care of your heart. It's led you through so much. Now, let it lead you home, to connection, to meaning, to peace. You are still here, and you are still deeply, wonderfully needed.